Good evening, everyone. My name is Christina Stark, and I'm the Global Enrollment and Marketing Director at NMMI, New Mexico Military Institute. And as you see, better known as NMMI, located in Roswell, New Mexico. We're so glad you could join us tonight. Let me tell you something. Life at a military boarding school is never boring. From our extracurriculars to our athletics, our cadets stay involved and very active. But perhaps the most important part of their life here, one of the pillars of NMMI, is our academic community and how our faculty bring learning to life. Whether it's our Shakespeare Festival or our students mentoring budding scientists in the STEM field, we have some of the best academics of any boarding school internationally. We know not everyone can see our campus firsthand. So tonight, we want to hear your questions about NMMI as we give you a better understanding of our campus and our academic programs. Just so you know, NMMI is ranked as the number two junior college by the CNN Money magazine, based on the percentage of students graduating within 3 years or transferring to 4 years college. NMMI is also ranked as the number one nationally by the Boarding School Review for teachers with advanced degrees. So tonight, you'll have the opportunity to meet many of those teachers. So let me remind you, we're accepting applications for both programs through June 30th. Joining us tonight are some of our faculty who run a variety of courses in our high school and junior college program. They will better help you understand the courses and academic supports and rigor NMMI has to offer. So we'll start by having them introduce themselves to you and tell you what they teach and how long they've been here at NMMI. So before they introduce themselves, I would like to inform you and let you know that we want tonight to be very interactive. So we want to hear your questions about NMMI as we give you a better understanding of our campus and our program. So let us know what you want to know about our academics or life at NMMI in general. Ask us on social media using hashtag AskNMMI. Post them in the YouTube chat or snap them to us at NMMI Life. This is a chance for you to get to know our school and what we are all about. So let us start by introducing our amazing faculty and staff here. So we have Lieutenant Colonel Matchin. Would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, good evening. My name is Patricia Matchin. I've been working at NMMI for 16 years. I just finished my 16th year. But I've been part of the school actually since the day I was born. I was born the day of graduation. My dad was working the graduation the day I was born. Um, I am a professor of English literature. I've taught American and British literature. I enjoy most British literature. And I teach high school and college level, but I also teach a few sections of psychology.
Thank you very much. Now we have here with us Major Desi Aguilar. Would you please introduce yourself?
Good evening. I'm Desi Aguilar. I've been at NMMI for 13 years full time and another 6 part time before that. But I am in charge of the night study hall programs, the early warning program. Um, I've done quite a few different things. I've worked in the library before. I'm a club sponsor. Um, I've taught a few classes before, some math and reading classes. I've helped out with the international program. So I've just done a lot of different things, but I enjoy working with students in any capacity. So pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will have Dr. Mia Yang. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. This is Mia Yang. I've been teaching at NMMI since 2009, which is 14 years already. I have been taught high school chemistry, college physics, algebra-based physics, engineering physics for 14 years. And I also hosted a science night clubs, taking cadets out to the community to do service work to express the ideas of a STEM field. So let the kids boost the interest of the kids going to choose the STEM field as their career choice.
Thank you. We have with us tonight Mrs. Haley Loving. Would you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Haley Loving. I'm the Global Student Service Support Coordinator here. My role is to support and assist students with anything they need, whether it's academic support with tutors or just life as a cadet and adjusting from being away from home for the first time. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have Dr. Sion and also Dr. Lindsay Mayo Fincher. Would you please introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Dr. Xian. I'm the art teacher in NMMI. This is my second year teaching the art. I'm teaching college and high school level. My curriculum focus on painting, drawing, ceramics, and sculpting, and encourage students to use various art materials and also exploring art techniques. So, yes.
And I'm Dr. Lindsay Mayo Fincher. I've been at the Institute for 10 years. For the first 7 years, I taught in the English department and taught freshman level students, senior level students, college students, Brit Lit, freshman composition, everything in between, summer English, served the student population in that role. And then about 3 years ago, I moved over to the philosophy department. And in that capacity, I teach ethics, intro to philosophy, critical thinking and logic, Greek philosophy, modern philosophy, really a variety of courses. And I also serve as the department chair for art, music, and philosophy, and love getting to promote the fine arts program through that role.
Thank you very much. So we have a few questions here, so let's begin with Dr. Yang. Dr. Yang, why do you think cadets and their families choose NMMI as an academic option?
First of all, I think NMMI has a rigorous academic curriculums. Things in our math and science divisions, we have through in high school, we have from courses from pre-algebra all the way to differential equations, calculus, high school calculus, and for colleges, we have intermediate algebra all the way to differential equations. So we'll have a variety of a level of math programs going on. And for the science department, we have all kinds of subjects. We have earth science, geology, astronomy, kinesiology, forensic science, and we have biology, and we have physics, we have engineering, computer science. We have all kinds of subjects provided in our math and science division. So the cadets can choose a variety of subjects to learn to meet the requirement to graduate from NMMI. And as well, also we have we have a lot of academic programs outside the classroom. We have all kinds of competitions. And I might just going to introduce a little bit. I think later on I'm going to explain a little bit more. We have all kinds of competitions going on. We have a New Mexico Governor's STEM Challenge competition. We have a New Mexico State Fair, Science Fair competitions. We have supercomputing competitions. We have math competitions. We'll have all kinds of science Olympia competitions. We also have international science and engineering fair competitions going on right now. And in the future, we're planning to provide a more competition opportunity for the cadets. So I think the rigorous academic program we're provided in New Mexico Military Institute can make our students enrich their academic background and they're going to learn a lot from these programs.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mayo Fincher, what do you think differentiates NMMI's academic program from other schools, both private and public?
So I think that what we offer here is intensely rigorous, but we also at the same time are offering foundations to students. So when I was teaching, for instance, freshman English, I would discover quite a few students coming in with not a lot of writing experience or not, a tremendous amount of experience in reading. And so we were able to give them opportunities to really hone those skills while also giving them opportunities to embrace rigor in ways that they had not received yet. And I found time and time again, whether I'm teaching at the high school level, whether I'm teaching at the college level, whether I'm teaching students who have been in the public school or students who have been in the private school, that students are really hungry for those opportunities to have challenges, to have, academic success and to be fully supported. And so I think that what we offer at our institute, if I can add on to Dr. Yang's comments, is it's, she's the associate dean of the sciences. And so the programs she listed are in the sciences and mathematics, but we also have very flourishing humanities programming that's really spectacular. And I think we give the students the opportunity to enrich themselves in those ways and maybe flourish in ways they hadn't expected before.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about the recent, fairly recent trip that our choir took to Washington, D.C.? Can you tell us a little bit more? Why did NMMI take them to Washington, D.C.?
Absolutely. So that trip was the 45th annual Military Bands Festival. And that's an opportunity that the cadets had. We took 33 cadets with us. We went to Washington, D.C., and we went to Front Royal, Virginia. There's a military school there, the Randolph-Macon Academy. And it was really a neat opportunity for the students, both band and choir, to learn with other schools under a shared conductor. And that was just an enriching opportunity to learn very quickly and pretty demanding schedule, really. I mean, they were rehearsing like 9 hours a day, but the students absolutely loved it. They gained skills, they built relationships, they got to have new experiences of learning that they hadn't had before. Of course, being kids at a military school, they really enjoyed that opportunity to be with other kids who are in military school and to really understand. And I think they came back, honestly, with a greater appreciation of what we're doing on our campus, of, that the value of all the character development that we're doing, of all of the focus on ethics and virtues, and just thinking about how personal integrity works, even within academic spheres or even as you're networking and building out future connections. And so I think it really set them up nicely for where they're at in their learning, but also for where they want to be and thinking about their goals for the future. Also, as part of that trip, not only did we have the rehearsals and the learning, and then they had a competition at the end where they got to play in this shared band of other military schools, but they also, our cadets won numerous awards. They really did a phenomenal job. They just swept the competition, honestly. But after that, we got to go back to Washington, D.C. and take the kids to see the Arlington Cemetery. We got to go and just give them opportunities to see the nation's capital and to have experiences that some of them had never had before and wouldn't have otherwise had without that trip.
Thank you very much. So, Lieutenant Colonel Matchin, why don't you share a little bit about the amazing things you do in your area? You and your amazing faculty colleagues.
Sure. In the Humanities division, we do many amazing things. We have obviously the art department where the Dr. Shen is has brought new medians of art where the cadets have actually been given the freedom to develop their artwork based on how they're feeling and where they're guided. We also have a couple of new courses where with the myths and folktales, we've been teaching it in the high school level. But we were able to get a college level course approved. And so we've really had some fun with that. At this point, the professor who's been teaching that course uses the idea of the storytelling, and the cadets get to learn they've got to memorize a story, but then also understand how that's really where a lot of our literature came from, is that oral tradition. But then it's also that presentation part of it, to be able to share the history and the culture within that story. And so there have been a few times where I look down the hall and they're dressed up, or they've created some type of prop to help with their storytelling. It's actually really amazing. We also have a very hardworking creative writing instructor. He's helped with several of our competitions and encourages our students to really, dig deep into some of the poetry, but also to really develop their own poetry and their own style. The English department holds their Shakespeare Festival every year. We just had it towards the end of this semester. It's really kind of in the idea of a Renaissance fair, but also to kind of celebrate Shakespeare and what he's brought to literature and to honor him. And the cadets get involved. They perform, they have fun, they just enjoy each other. And yeah.
That's amazing.
We also actually have I just remembered, we also have a great language department. It's our second year of a group of students are on their way to Spain for study abroad with the Spanish department.
They're having a lot of fun.
Yes, and they come back, and it's amazing to watch the group from this first year, this last summer, sitting in my class talking Spanish to each other. Some of the kids that had not done it before, and it was really neat to just have them doing that. Our department, our division has tried to work really hard to work with the international department office to try to build that study abroad program. And we're hoping we can offer some more in the future.
Absolutely. Yes. It is an amazing experience. And right now we have two groups of students from NMMI on a study abroad program abroad. So we have the Spanish group, as Lieutenant Colonel mentioned. We have 18 students in Spain right now. And we also have 4 other students in Germany taking college classes for credit and living it day by day. So as we all talked about the amazing things that we do here at NMMI, I would like to ask Dr. Xian to please share a little bit of what she does. I've been to her classroom a couple of times, and I was absolutely blown away by the quality of the artwork that our students were working on, but also all the initiatives that she has. She brings us into her classroom and takes students outside of the classroom. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Dr. Xian?
Yes, of course. So for my art philosophy, the ways I design the art curriculum focus on to improve cadets' 21st century innovation and learning skill of critical thinking, communication, creativity, and collaboration. So it will be very easy to see all the cadets in my art classroom, they collaborate to each other and they help to the peers with the peers. And that's just the amazing things I saw. It's not just the individual creating art, and sometimes they're chatting about their idea, and this is how they inspire by each other. And the other thing is I feel very comfortable for my teaching is we have so many talented cadets. So it is not art academy, NIMI, but you'll be surprised that our cadets creating art is like an artist. I always call them names, artists, and there's a full name. So instead of just the cadets, their full name. So for me, everyone is an artist. Everyone created unique art. So there's no good, no bad art. So first time, also cadets feel uncomfortable because they told me, "Oh, I cannot draw, I cannot paint." I say, "Of course you can do. You can draw. Everyone can draw, right?" So I try to encourage them, and also very matter for me is like what type of curriculum could be engage the cadets. This is how I design my art curriculum. Is not just them to do the technique. I was more focusing on how they're created their unique idea. So because technique, they can take a long time to train, right? But idea, everyone have the unique because idea coming from their life experience, coming from their different culture background, and that's actually is a part of their very unique way to create art pieces. And also another thing that I like lots of my art class and also cadets also feel very enjoying is like I provide so many different opportunity allow cadets to use different materials. For example, if they have the big idea, then what kind of technique cadets you wanted to choose? So they can choose the watercolor and they can choose oil painting and they can use the color pencil, all type of different kind of materials. And also once the material they decide and they can think about the techniques. For example, watercolor techniques, right? They have a blending, they have also the splatter, you can splatter the color, and also you can do the dry brush, for example. So there's a lot of fun. It's not just, to learn how to do the drawing art. I can see a lot of my cadet at the end of the class, they're so happy. And they feel like it's a very open their heart to the whole world. And they very unique to bring their unique, the critical, the voice to their art. So they talking about how they think and also share their life experience through the art practice.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a couple of questions here. One of the questions is study abroad available for high school students or junior college? Both. Both students could go to either trips. So we have them available. We are now for next summer, we are also offering a study abroad program to Brazil. So I'm very excited about that. Um, so let's continue our questions here to our amazing faculty. So, Lieutenant Colonel Matchin, NMMI has high levels of accreditation for our academic programs. So, tell us, what does that mean for cadets?
Well, in order to be considered at that high level of accreditation, we go through quite a bit of paperwork and microscopic, examinations from accreditation groups. And what that really means is that our faculty are prepared. They are, they have the top credentials that are required to be able to teach our students. But even though they may have those top credentials, they are also meeting a lot of those outcomes that we have set for our students, the critical thinking, the writing at a very high level, being able to achieve very high level science classes and math courses. And so what that really means is that we work really hard to get that accreditation. We're dedicated to our students. We're dedicated to make sure that they leave us with the skills that we value the most. And I believe that's really what that means.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we have another question here. And well, the first one is, when is the deadline to apply for fall college semester? I would say our deadline is June 30th, but I would highly recommend that you, if you're interested, apply now. You don't have to make any financial commitments once you apply. There's no application fee, so take advantage of that. Submit your application. Another thing is we have over 180 scholarships available to all of our students, so take advantage of that. Once you apply and you submit your documentation, and by the time you are even conditionally accepted, we will look into opportunities for financial aid for you. So, another question is, what is the average out of pocket cost for a college student living on campus? All of our students are boarding students. So, everybody lives on campus here at our school. I would say submit your application. We are extremely affordable. NMMI is a land grant institution, so there are a lot of funds available. So you will be surprised of how little you can pay coming to NMMI and having this amazing experience here. Great support, amazing professors here to make sure that you succeed. Now, Major Aguilar, how would you describe a typical day in the classroom of a life of a cadet here?
Um, for the high school kids, they all get up at the same time. They get up early and they have to go to formation and go to breakfast, and then they start their school day right after that, and they get to meet with their teachers if they choose to, with the academic tutoring time. If the teacher, um, most days of the week, they have tutoring time available before school, and then they will go through their classes. They will have typically, I think it's a 50-minute period for each class. So they go through, I think, 4 periods before lunch, then they have their lunch period, and then come back and have another 3 periods of classes after that. And depending on what their schedule is, they may have a free period in there, depending on what their load is. But they meet with each of their teachers and in their classrooms, and depending on the subjects, it'll be in different buildings. We have buildings for math and science, a building for the humanities. So it just all depends on where they are on campus. So they get to move in between. They get to have some free period, some free time in between classes to move about. But they do get to move around and mix in with a lot of other people. The college students have even more freedom because their schedule looks a little bit different. I'm not exactly sure what their school day looks like because I don't work with the junior college as much, but they do have quite a challenging day. It's very jam-packed with being busy, getting their studies done, but they do have lots of support available at every corner, at every turn.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mayo Fincher, what is the typical class size and how does that impact your teaching?
Yes, so the typical class size, we try to limit to 15 students to one teacher. However, depending upon the class, there may be, like, for instance, with the ceramics class, 8 people total. With some upper level classes, because there's less of a demand for some of those classes. I know with upper level maths or sometimes with my upper level philosophy classes, it may be smaller than that, which really allows for a lot of opportunities, a lot of personal interaction, individual support. That's one thing I've really enjoyed about the campus. I've worked at other institutions that had, double those class sizes. And what's lost is those moments of working individually with the student, particularly in the humanities. It gives us the ability to help them develop critical thinking skills, writing skills, reading, to find out really where that student is at and what their needs are and to meet those needs. And so I think it's been, of great benefit to me as a teacher because it allows me the opportunity to really understand what my students' needs are and meet those, but also, like, because of those ratios, I'm able to see an enormous amount of progress from the students, even within a semester. And, with our tutoring times that Major Aguilar was talking about, those are key opportunities or key moments with the students where they can come in for an additional assistance, especially with writing or reading. Those are really valuable moments to work with the student and see where they're at and give them the supports they need. So I just really think that that's what makes our institution, is the fact that we are able to offer ratios that allow us to pay attention to the students' needs, whether that's academic, whether that's emotional. You know, if they're having a rough day, we notice and we communicate with each other to support the student. If we find that they're needing something, like for instance, if they're, you know, struggling in a class and they come, we might help them with that other class or help them get the supports they need and direct them to the areas they need to go. So even if it's not in our subject, I think it's very common for all of us to work with the kid to work with the student to make sure they're supported.
Thank you very much. I guess that answers some of the questions that we received here in regards to academic support available at our school, but we'll expand on that. So there's another question here. What is the cost to attend Brazil? Is this a part of a class? How long are they there? So we do offer Portuguese class here at NMMI. So they will stay in Brazil for 3 to 4 weeks. And I would be more than happy to expand on that. So please send me an email either to admissions@nmmi.edu, or you can send to my personal email, stark at nmmi.edu. I'll be happy to go over the details with you. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Xian, can you give an example of a lesson that you've brought to life for our cadets? You had one that you brought them outside to draw there. Can you tell us about that? I thought that was really cool.
Definitely. There's the one we did last semester. We call the street art painting. I encourage cadets not just working in the classroom and bring them outside the building. So what they are doing is like they have kind of the image, like a group, several cadets work together, and we make a big idea for each group, and they use the chalks and the pastel and draw that image on the floor, on the street outside the building. So it's a large size, the drawing. So each cadet is working the one spot. So the finally look like the final art pieces. This is amazing. And also next semester, we're planning to work on the recycle art project. So that's actually, I think it's a very meaningful art curriculum, because ecosystem, the crisis right now is not just in the United States, the whole world. So we want a cadet can use the art, not just creating the beautiful pieces, also creating the meaningful art pieces. So I encourage cadets to look around there's community or anything they think about is recycled the items, so they can bring to the classroom, and we encourage them to use the recycled item to create art pieces for next semester.
Thank you very much. So another question that we have here is in regards to our high school students that graduate, if they continue here at NMMI in our junior college program. So many of our students do that. And it's an amazing opportunity to continue in a setting that they're very used to, very familiar with, and have amazing opportunities. So every student that graduates from an MMI and decides to enroll in our junior college program has scholarship available. It's automatically given to them. So think about that. Now, we'll show you a video so you can see that a few other lessons are brought to life here at NMMI. So we'll show you a very short clip of some of our academics and our activities here. So again, I would highly encourage you to submit your application. There is no application fee, and we are allowing or giving you a chance to do that until June 30th. So, Lieutenant Colonel Matchin, can you talk about students who are high school students at NMMI? Can they also take college classes?
Yes, they can. There are specific courses that in specific programs that they can become a part of to be able to do that. We have the dual grad program, but we also have the scholars program. We don't allow the freshmen and most of the sophomores to take the college. We still need them to learn a little bit more within the writing and the critical thinking in order to be able to be ready for those college courses. But I just taught the second level of the freshman comp 2 or the composition 2 course, college course, and I actually had half my students were high school seniors, and so we do offer that opportunity. They go through kind of a request process, and yeah, they do. They're allowed.
Okay, wonderful. Major Aguilar, for students who need extra support at NMMI, can you talk about what's in place here? Can you, not only about their life as a cadet, but their academics? So, talk to us, tell us about the academic advisors and also the early warning system. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. There are several ways that we provide support to our students. First of all, the advisors. Each high school class has their own advisor they report to, and they meet weekly with them, and they have their own little seminar course at least once a week, and each one is responsible for discussing their plans with each student individually, and they also give them tips on how to be more successful here at the institute. At the junior college level, it's more divided up by the subject that the student is pursuing. For example, student might be going into criminal justice or nursing or something like that. Then they have specific advisors that they report to that help them stay on track for those. But as far as high school, each counselor helps those students at least once a week, and then they also place their students into academic assistance classes if they have a free period during the week, and that's if the student might be struggling in any area. There's, as I discussed earlier, the teacher tutoring that's available before school. Every teacher has that free period before classes start, and then office hours, of course, that they can meet with the students as well. There is a 24-hour-a-day tutoring service that's available online to all of our students at no cost to them, that they can get online and access tutor.com, and it has any number of subjects. Any subject that we teach here at the Institute is available for those tutors. And like I said, it's free to them anytime, day or night, weekends, whatever, all subjects. We also have private paid tutoring. So if a parent feels that their student would work better with a private tutor, then we have a list of pre-vetted people that are available to help, and the parents would contact those directly and arrange for their student to meet them. Our librarians here in the Tolles Learning Center, they are a great resource. They can help students in any number of areas to help them do their research or help them find information, of course, getting books, things like that. We're also starting a new program this coming fall, just to add on to all the things we already do. We're going to have supplemental instruction that's going to be going on. We're going to be hiring some new people to do that. We're also going to reintegrate peer tutoring and peer mentoring into the programs so that we can help get our students even more help, further help. As
Okay.
far as the early warning system, that is a homegrown program to where we can have uh, real-time access to things that are going on. So, for example, if a student does not turn in their homework for a third period, then the teacher can go and put it into the system because the system is geared to have every staff and faculty member um, have access to this program, and they will put in a flag. It could be a red flag, which is concern, a green flag, which is a positive thing, or a blue flag, which is more informational. Um, so, an example of a red flag, like I said, maybe an incomplete homework. If a student is struggling, maybe they're homesick or have trouble adapting, that would be a red flag. If they fall asleep in class or something like that, we could put these red flags in the system, and anybody pulling up that student's record could see, okay, well, little Johnny's having trouble sleeping in class. So, is that happening in other classes? So we would know if he is maybe not getting enough sleep at night, and we'll try to find out what's going on there. We also have green flags, like I said, and those are more positive. So if little Susie has been doing really well lately, and we want to give her a green flag for doing a great job on a project or notable improvement or just having a good attitude about something. So they can get green flags, which they accumulate points type of system with green flags, and they can earn special rewards through the commandant side through that. So they get a little treat for that. And the blue flags are more informational. So if an advisor or a teacher or whoever wants to send a blue flag note directly to parents, or a teacher might want to send a note to the dean about a student concern. So it could be any number of things. But these are all programs that work together so that we know in real time what a student is encountering, and that's very helpful. So we're not waiting until mid 9 weeks or 9 weeks to see that a student might be struggling. We know right away if they're having trouble, and we can address it right away.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Now, Miss Loving, I know that you do a lot with our students, what our current students, once they arrive on our campus. So tell us a little bit more about the services that you and your team provide to all of the students here at NMMI.
Sure. So, um, like I said at the beginning, I work as an additional line of support for cadets, whether that's their core life, so the more military side that they deal with, or academics. So I will meet with students if they come to me and have issues, or I'll also reach out to them if I see they're continuing to miss class or their grades aren't the best, and I will see what's going on with them, see what support I can offer them for that. We also have some of our top academic performing cadets that come to our office during any of their free time to tutor any students that need help with their academics. And then I also help them reach out to their teachers and find out what their office hours are and what tutoring time they have available. As Major Aguilar mentioned, the private tutors, if a cadet feels they need some additional tutoring during night study hall, I can help them and their parents get in touch with a private tutor that can help them as well.
Thank you. So, just so you know, NMMI is home for cadets from so many parts of the United States, over 42 states represented here on our campus, but also over 35 countries represented. So, it's a huge opportunity to expand your horizons in so many ways, to be exposed to so many different cultures, and of course, learn a little bit of a different language too, just with your friend. So I have here a question. Um, and Walker, you ask here, do all these answers apply to Falcon Foundation scholarship receivers as well? Yes, they do. You have an amazing director of your program that will work very closely with you. Now, Dr. Mayo Fincher, can you talk about the multitude of cultures, as we were just talking, and backgrounds that come together in the Corps of Cadets and how this comes together in your classroom?
Absolutely. So this is, I think, the beautiful feature of our campus. I was teaching an intro to philosophy course this semester, and I had just a really engaged group of students. And that class allows us to explore ideas of being, of existence, of consciousness, of identity, of what it means to live a good life, which is a question that's really, been asked since ancient Greek culture, in the ancient West and in the ancient East. And these are really questions that pertain to us immediately in life and have a lot of bearing for our way of viewing the world, but also our own engagement with the world. And so it's such an important class in that regard. But what was particularly, I think, poignant and beautiful this semester is I had a few students who would stay after every time without fail because they loved the course concept so much and they wanted to engage more. And so it was just this moment where I realized I had a student from Australia hanging out after, a student from New Zealand, a student from Ukraine, a student from India. And I would have students, of course, from the US hanging out too. But just all of those students coming together, coming from such different cultures, traditions, parts of the world, engaging with the same question, but engaging with each other in very productive, thoughtful, reflective, gentle ways that I thought was brilliant for opening their own worldviews, and helping them to really have a better understanding of why they view the world the way they do, but also ways that they can learn from others about viewing the world. And so I think that's really one of the best kept secrets of our campus, especially like as a parent. That's so unbelievably appealing to me to imagine that my kid could become a student at NMMI. He lives in Roswell, but he would have the opportunity to meet kids from all over the world, to have really a global outlook, and to really think about everything that he believes to be the case in the world and really test that. And I think that's what makes for thoughtful people who become really amazing leaders in this world and who truly live what the Greeks call the good life, who truly achieve eudaimonia, is through that kind of careful reflection, careful introspection. And I think that's what we do on this campus that's really appealing. I should note too, I want to plug philosophy for a hot minute, because one thing that's very unusual about our campus is we do have a philosophy program. That's not typically the case for high school education. It's certainly important to my program. The scholars students who take that program, who engage in that program, also dual credit students, end up taking philosophy senior year. I think it's such a good class for them to really expand their own horizons. And that applies to, ethics are used in medical fields, business fields, any kind of field they're going into, law. It really is going to be important to their future. And I think that's one of the unusual features that we offer that has a lot of meaning for them, but also makes us highly competitive academically.
Thank you very much. So we have another question here, and that is, when are the cadets able to meet with their counselor to pick their college courses? Once you submit your application and you go through the process and you've been even conditionally accepted at NMMI, you will immediately start being contacted by all the people that will be working with you. So your academic counselor will contact you, and then you will discuss about your classes and your class load. So another question here is, if college students are allowed to travel home on weekends or holidays, and if they can have parents visit. Yes to all of these questions. We have certain rules. There are some weekends that a cadet must stay on campus for different reasons, activities, events that we're having here that can not go anywhere. So, but yes, they are allowed to check out and go home, and parents can visit. So we work through the whole process with their advisor, the troop leaders, advisors, and the families, so we can uh, make sure that everybody is uh, informed of what's going to happen. So another question that I would like to ask Dr. Mayo Fincher, since cadets are away from home, without the polite urging of parents to get assignments done, do you see them learn to balance coursework and extracurricular activities here at NMMI?
Yes. So on our campus, the cadets, I think, initially the schedule is full for them, especially for high schoolers. They have to learn how to manage their time. I think we have a lot of structures in place to help them gain those skills, and especially you see it in the cadet over time as they move through their high school career. I'm actually astounded by how proficient they become at being able to take care of their coursework, but also be very involved in extracurriculars. We're really, we seek out developing the whole person on our campus. And so it's very important to our mission as a school, our values as a school, that they become a well-rounded person. And that means, mentally and physically. And so it's very important for us that cadets are getting those extracurriculars while still also being intellectuals. And so I think that too is something that often gets lost in understanding what a military institute is doing. That what we're up to here is that we're really training them in the virtues in the most proper sense. And so that doesn't mean that it's like a reform school. In fact, this is very much a school where they are pushed academically to be their finest and their best, while also given those supports. So especially when I was teaching, say, high school freshmen, they're going to they need a lot of support to learn how to juggle and how to prioritize. I think that's a very typical response from younger students, but I find it at the college level too. And so those ratios of small class sizes really keep us keen and alert to the student needs. So I can't tell you how many times it's daily. If I notice a kid is not turning in an assignment, I will stop and talk to them, ask how they're doing. I've literally sat there as a writing teacher and helped them think about, they're writing their first long essay. Maybe they've never written an essay that was more than 2 pages, and a 3-page essay feels overwhelming. I sit there and work with them, and I teach them something called backwards planning, so that they can think about time they have in their day, how to best utilize it, and how to balance that with other activities they're doing. I think that, what makes for meaning in human life is that we have to have other activities we're doing. And when we take a break from, say, a writing project or an intellectual project to go work out or to go play a sport, that's just part of the creative process. You have to have that kind of physical engagement, and then engagement and training of the body is incredibly beneficial for the mind. And in philosophy, it goes back to Plato. He says that the mind has to be developed as well as the body. You can't give more bearing to one than the other.
Thank you very much. So there's another question here. Are there another graduation for junior college in December? Yes, NMMI has 2 graduations, one in December for the students who are finishing their program in December, and another one in May. Usually the December is much smaller, but then we have our large event, graduation in May, that it just happened. So make sure you watch that. Okay. So, Miss Loving, I know that a lot of students, even if they don't have a class, or if for some reason they have some homework to do, they visit your area. Tell us a little bit about what happens in your area when a cadet comes there to take advantage of all the support that you offer them.
Yes. So here in our area, we have 2 different tables that cadets are more than welcome to work on their homework at, or like I mentioned earlier, work with another cadet that can tutor them. And then we also have an area with couches if cadets just want to come and relax in their free time, or sometimes even take a nap here and make sure that someone in our office wakes them up so they don't miss their next class. But our office is totally catered to the cadets and what they need and to feel comfortable. There's 3 people here in my area, and we're always here ready to help the cadets and talk to them. Sometimes the cadets just need someone to come and talk to, and that's what we're here for. And We have a popcorn machine as well if they want to come and have a snack in between classes. So my area is solely here for the cadets and whatever they need to feel more comfortable and have any extra help.
Thank you. So, again, I would like to remind you that our applications, you can submit your applications for the fall semester until June 30th. So there's no application fee, so take advantage of that. We will be working with you, and also take advantage of submitting your application as soon as possible so you can be considered for additional financial aid that we have here at NMMI. As I said, we have over 180 scholarship available. So please take advantage of that. So you can sign up to receive information about NMMI on our website. Follow us on social media to learn more about life at NMMI. Our admission process is very straightforward, so we are always here available to assist you. Again, take advantage of that. Our email is at admissions@nmmi.edu. So I would like to ask Lieutenant Colonel Matchin, as you've been at NMMI for a long time. So what is your favorite NMMI tradition?
My favorite NMMI tradition actually dates back to when I was a child here. My father was the director of admissions, and so we'd visit with him sometimes and hang out with him while he worked at night. And we could hear the cadets marching to supper. And what is really neat about that is the drum line plays a specific tune that keeps the cadence for the cadets, and to just be able to see them all uniform and just looking really sharp in their uniforms. And there's just, it really is more of a personal favorite because I have childhood memories of it and the respect that I held for the cadets when I was so little. And then the pride that I have for them now as I watch them do the same thing. It's a really neat thing to watch.
Wonderful, thank you. As we wrap up our YouTube live tonight, and thank you so much for joining us, and for the faculty and staff that came here and talked to us. I would like to ask you if you could summarize the question that your answer in a sentence or two. What is the best part of teaching here at NMMI, and why would a cadet want to be part of your classroom? So let's start with Dr. Yang.
The best part of my teaching is to see the cadets grow. And at the beginning of the semester, I usually have cadets came with really poor math background. Well, after a year or after a semester, I can see their math skills go elevated dramatically. And that's the best part. I see they grow. And another best part is how successful they are when they graduate, and they get being through this rigorous academic programs through NMMI, and they move on to higher institutions, tier 1 schools, academies, and military schools. So that's the best part of teaching here in NMMI, to see the student to be successful.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Mayo Fincher.
I think for me, it's, I remember being an undergraduate student and being terrified to go talk to my professors. And I really didn't learn that until senior year. And then in graduate school, I developed very close, meaningful relationships with my professors where I understood that they were experts in the field who could mentor me. And there was so much I could gain from that. And so, when I was working at the university, we had such high numbers and volumes of students that we were serving that it was impossible to really forge those relationships in the first, early years of college. But I think here at the Institute, what is so neat is that we get to really know our students well. really help them out with whatever level they're at. The students get to know us really well, and get to engage with professors in subject areas that they have a passion for, or discover they have a passion in that maybe they wouldn't have realized in a larger sphere without that kind of personal contact and without that daily contact and availability. So we're very available to our students. It's unlike anything I've ever seen at any place. We are readily available to our students. Our students come, they seek out help, they seek out guidance, assistance. And so, as Dr. Yang was talking about, not only do we get to watch them grow and succeed, but we get to be part of helping them develop future successes. So frequently I get the chance to read application materials and help them develop that and get to help launch them into their next step.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel Matchin. So what is the best part of teaching here at NMMI, and why would a cadet want to be part of your classroom?
The best part of teaching here at NMMI is the curricular freedom that we have. It allows for me to pick texts within the parameters that we have, but the text that I have a passion for, and if I am enjoying it, I can convey that passion through my teaching, and the students respond to that. But then also, along with that curricular freedom, we have the ability to take longer on something if we notice that they may be struggling, or they really are enjoying it and they want to just dive deeper into a topic. We have that ability to do that. We're not set to a specific schedule, and the students really enjoy that, and it helps us to really kind of tap into that critical thinking.
Thank you very much. So as we are wrapping up here, I would like to thank you for watching us tonight. If you're interested in learning more about NMMI, please contact us at admissions@nmmi.edu, or you can send me a direct message at stark@nmmi.edu. If you want to apply, as I said, our deadline is June 30th for fall semester. And you can just visit our website, www.nmmi.edu, click on admissions, apply now. It's very simple. So you can always watch any part of this back, and you can share with others that might be interested in NMMI. So I know there were many questions that were not answered tonight, so please email us your questions. We'll be happy to assist you. Thank you all for joining us, and have a good night.